This is the Unexpected Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Unexpected Podcast, and I've got a very special guest in here today, and that is none other than Joseph Andrew Mercer.
Oh, yeah, here I am. I just walked in here and, thought this was something else, but, here I am. I'm excited. Ready to go for whatever this is.
Well, I will let you know this is a podcast studio.
Okay.
Cool. And that's a microphone.
Oh, microphone, guys. This is a microphone.
Yeah. And we're here to talk about you a little bit.
Me?
Yeah.
What?
Unless you want to interview me, but I think the plan here is for me to interview you.
Okay. All right. What's so interesting about me, though?
Well, that's what we're going to find out.
Okay.
All right. Well, for those of you who don't know, Joseph is our youngest son. And you want to tell him your age?
I am, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Taylor Swift song.
Oh, okay.
You know that song.
I only know the one.
Uncultured.
Very uncultured, I guess. I probably heard it, but I don't know it. Okay.
22.
All right. Well, you should write your own version of being 22. Yeah. Speaking of songs and music, Joseph is a singer, an artist, and he's cut a couple of tracks with his friend Jace Lewis and under the band name TV Trouble.
Yes.
So you guys can check that out.
Yeah, check it out. More to come.
Yeah, definitely more to come. So let me give you just a brief rundown because I think it's going to have to be brief because if I told you all the things that Joseph is involved in, it would be a lot and I don't want to leave anything out. But, on this podcast, we've talked a lot about creativity and just how God has gifted different people in different ways to create things. I mean, he is the creator. Mm-hmm. God is the creator. And he gives people various talents and abilities and passions. And Joseph has a number of those, art, photography, film, music, list goes on and on.
Yeah. I try to have my hand in a little bit of everything. Yeah,
you really do. And it's interesting because it seems like some people who have different types of creativity really lock into one area. Mm-hmm. Others tend to use that creativity in a lot of different ways, and I think that would sum you up. But let's start with talking about art because.
What kind?
And when I say art,
yes, okay,
great question because art is all encompassing. Uh-huh. But when I'm talking about art in this case, I'm referring to, art as in drawing, painting, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And you got started at that at a really young age. And let me just say, the degree to that talent came through genetics. It did not come through me. I would not say I have much in the way of artistic ability as far as being able to sit down and draw something that looks really accurate. And if anyone has seen Joseph's art, he can just really draw and paint in great detail. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing that astounded me the most, and when you were young. So I don't know at what point you started just picking up a pencil or crayons or whatever and just started drawing. And your brother Luke, he drew a lot too.
Yeah.
And you guys would do different.
He actually kind of inspired me to draw, but then I kept with it. And while he kind of
right
went away from it a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. You guys used to draw, was it chipmunks or something? Yeah.
Well, first we started out with drawing a lot of Spider-Man stuff.
That's true.
Like little boxy Spider-Man characters.
Oh,
I remember it very well.
Oh yeah. So. Well, good. Because I haven't asked you how much of that do you remember, but a memory that comes to me about you drawing is when you were in kindergarten. I noticed one afternoon you were drawing, in a lot of detail, you were drawing trains, like trains on a track.
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, and I remember it, but then I noticed something that I hadn't noticed before, and that was that you weren't looking at anything that resembled what you were drawing. And at that point, I realized, oh, wow, he's drawing from memory. Now, I don't know if it was something you had drawn before, and then because you had drawn it before, because children do have pretty amazing memories. Most children do. But I knew that he must have an image in his head from somewhere. And then somehow he's pulling from that and then drawing in a lot of detail. So that kind of astounded me.
Yeah.
But you don't remember that?
I don't. I mean, I really just remember drawing all these characters, but
yeah,
I can see myself drawing trains and cars. I tried to draw cars. I still can't draw cars, but I mean, I could. It would just take some time for me to.
Yeah,
I mean, drawing from off the top of my head, like
Yeah.
I could do a reference, but
right.
yeah,
You'd have to work from it.
I hate working with reference. I don't know. That's just a me thing. A lot of
yeah.
artists do work from reference, but
Uh-huh.
I mean, with portraits, I have to
Right.
to get proportions right, but
Yeah. Yeah, I remember one time we were sitting at the Chattanooga Choo Choo downtown, sitting outside, and we had to be down there for some reason.
oh yeah.
And I was trying to get you to sit down and draw like what was before us, and you just didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What was it about that you didn't want to do?
I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of like landscape drawing, just because it's like it's very hard to get it right, and all the what is it, the values of like light. It's hard to get it exactly right, especially like when the sun is blaring down and like the shadows are a certain brightness in contrast to the light areas. And it was just like, it hurts your brain, and you have to learn how to see. That's what drawing is, learning how to see. It's not really what your fingers remember, because anyone can draw if they know how to see. And it's just retraining your just how you see things. So, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, it's like we can all move our hand in the same direction.
But it's not an easy process.
But it's connecting it to what you're seeing.
Yeah,
No, it's not an easy process.
It's not, and it's painful. It honestly is. I mean, I've gone through countless like times where I've had headaches just from trying to figure out how to draw something. Like actually head pounding headaches to where I have to go lie down because of just how mentally strenuous it is. But it's worth it in the end once you get the hang of it.
And would you say that? Now, I know at some point, even when you got in college, you took some drawing classes, but would you say that painful process was something you went through even before taking classes? It was just something that, like, you saw something that you wanted to draw and you persisted in doing it?
I mean, I still do that.
Yeah, okay.
Like, recently I've been working a lot with comic, like, drawings and learning how to ink those, because there's a certain technique to inking to make it kind of look accurate to what comics look like.
Okay.
And that process has been a little strenuous, but like I've gotten some good results from just being persistent at it and continuing to post on my art page, just my progress, and seeing where I came from. Like last year with like, I've just started doing digital art a lot, and like seeing from where I came from to now.
Okay.
So
making the comparison.
It's yeah, I can see the difference, and
yeah,
just keep persistent at it.
Yeah, and we will put links in the description of this video, and so you can go check out Joseph's art pages and art page and follow him. Yeah. And and then you at some point you got into painting, and
I still love it. I need to do it more. But.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little more of a, I don't want to say hassle, but you know,
it's more expensive.
It's more expensive.
Yeah.
You have to have the space to do it. You have to be willing to clean up afterwards and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to see you do more painting, you know, because I'm still needing, you know, some big paintings around the house. But we do have some of Joseph's paintings, even in our dining room and other areas of the house. So, with painting, I mean, actually, when Joseph was, I don't know how old you were, but we sent you to an art class, like a painting class.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember? It was Joseph and a bunch of older women.
Yeah. That was something. It was just more of like a gossip get together than a painting class.
And there
a little
you were,
bit.
this young probably really young teenager in there with these women who.
And I was like, he's just garbage. I'm so glad I left him. I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear this right now. But it was actually really good because I learned how to work with like oil paints and like how to thin out the paint with certain oils. I forget what they're called. I have them. But it's like a turpentine mixture with linseed oil. And, it's like a 50-50 mixture, and I learned that, and like like how to actually layer like the paint on paint.
Right.
But it was an interesting experience. Even some of the people in there like were trying to teach me stuff, like the older ladies that were in the class. Like I was like brushing something. They were like, "He's ruining a brush," and like someone said really loud, and I was like, "Am I? Well, you tell me how to do it. I don't know."
But there's something so valuable about going into a situation, and your dad and I were talking about this the other day. It's great that you can go onto YouTube and, you can learn about anything
Yeah.
right now. But I know for me, the things that I've carried with myself the most, like say, for example, in music, it has been when I was sitting down with another musician, so something about getting involved with other people who do what you do is valuable.
It helps you really continue like in the moment. Like it kind of makes you be like, oh, everyone else is doing this, so I have to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Because when you're alone, you're like, I've gotten far enough. I'm just going to quit for right now.
Right.
Yeah. It's very helpful to, get to a finished goal whenever you have other people who are like-minded.
Yeah.
To help you along in that process.
That's true. That's true. Well, let's talk about some of your other interests because when you went to college, you majored in cinema. So you've studied filmmaking, you've acted, you've written short scripts, you've worked with others on scripts, and you've done cinematography. You kind of did a little bit of everything on a film set and still want to pursue that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So the other day I was thinking about how you guys, you and your brother, and maybe some of the neighbors at times, would go out and make little films with a flip phone.
Yeah.
So this was what was cool because Joseph did one of his senior projects for his cinema program, had just different special effects with people appearing and disappearing. But what was funny was you guys were doing that kind of stuff on a flip phone. I don't know how you did it. How did you figure that out?
Well, on this specific flip phone, I forget what it was, some Verizon brand phone. You could edit while you were filming, so you could film and then cut it, like how they did in the old days, how they cut together. It's like like they had a shot and cut the actual film,
right?
But
same concept.
Okay. And then on this flip phone, I like made these teleportation videos, and like I hit record on this phone, shot whatever, and then hit stop, and then when I would hit record again in the actual video file when it was finished, it would cut to this other shot. And figured that out with the flip phone.
It's amazing. I mean, they would do they had this character, Dr. French Fry, and he would teleport and disappear and reappear. But that was great. And see, I love that because I think that when you're handed all the latest technology, then maybe you missed something if you didn't have to learn with lesser technology. Because you were understanding the concepts of filmmaking before you had any of the equipment to really do it. Yeah. And, and concepts of storytelling. And that reminds me of something else with you guys when you were younger. I noticed that whenever you were, say were grounded or something, got in a little bit of trouble. I mean, that never happened, right?
No, never. Gosh, I was the best.
Oh, well, you were. But, we all had those moments, right?
Yep.
And so if you were grounded, like say for several days, you weren't allowed to watch TV or have any screen time, that's when you guys would become the most creative.
Yeah.
You were forced to find a way to entertain yourself.
Yeah. And then I remember I would try to convince y'all, be like, this is honestly better than, not being grounded, when I knew it really wasn't. And I was trying to manipulate y'all.
Okay. Yeah. See, I was so naive. Because
I was trying to get them to be like, oh, if he's fine being grounded, like, then why are we even grounding him? So that was my thought process.
Okay, well,
I know, little conniving.
It didn't necessarily work though, because if anything, it made me think, oh, they need to we need to lessen the time that they watch television anyway, because we probably let you watch television too much. You don't know.
I don't know. Watching television has inspired me to do what
That's true too.
Do now. So.
Yeah. It's interesting because we know a family, and I remember, so we know the mom of these two sons, and I remember her telling me that at one point her father would come through town And he would say things like, those sons of yours, they're always just on a computer, that's never going to amount to anything. And now they
Like talk about
no,
us?
no, 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 no. This was a friend of
Oh,
ours.
I see.
And those two sons, although to him it looked like, they're just playing around on a computer. That's a waste of time.
Yeah.
But they both actually now make their living, and they're very good at what they do.
Yeah.
And that was part of
Yeah.
really what they were designed to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's true. I guess it's okay that you
Yeah. Well, the world's
watch
changing
some
fast,
television.
and
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of parents don't really understand that good things can come out of these newer things that are coming along. Even if some new things coming along are bad and should be avoided, but
Right.
I don't know, anything that has to do with like creativity, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just some new form of entertainment, I think
Mm-hmm.
can be used for good things. There's always
Right.
overuse, and there's an excess that you shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
go past a certain point of consuming so much
Yeah.
for your just overall mental health.
Right. Right. Right.
But
And
yeah, I think it can be helpful, like a lot of this entertainment that we have nowadays.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
and inspiring.
Yeah, and you're right. The world is changing, and sometimes there's certain aspects of it that I don't like. But I think that you and your friends, it seems like some of you guys have a good balance. In
Yeah.
other words, you're
I
still
try to,
always
yeah.
buying books and reading books.
Yeah.
You like to get out in nature. You like
Yes.
to get out and do a variety of things. So you're not
Yeah.
just always.
I mean, I've even started playing video games again. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes just
Yeah.
I don't know. I've noticed that video games have such like an immersive story that it's like sometimes even more impactful than a movie. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll find a game that I like or that seems interesting, and I'll play it all the way through. But then I won't touch video games for like months because I'm done with that story, and
Right,
I have no
right.
reason to
Yeah.
keep on playing until I find like another cool story or something
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
consume. But I mean, yeah, there's just a healthy way to do all that. Like you don't have to be this 30-year-old dude living in some person's basement playing video games 24/7. That's I know that's like the stereotype that's been built up around games and stuff.
That's
but,
true. That's true. The game culture.
yeah.
And yeah, you told me that the other day, and I hadn't, because I grew up with, two-dimensional video games like Donkey Kong. It's hard for
Still
me to
good
get
stuff.
my mind around the modern video games.
Yeah.
But you told me the other day, you were telling me that, how sometimes the stories are even better than what you find in movies. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So fast forward to, or let's look at some other areas that you're involved in. Obviously, filmmaking, that's something you're
Yes.
continuing to work on.
100%. Yeah.
And what would you say?
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know
That's my main
writing
thing.
too. Yeah, it is. And you and your brother, your friends, you're often out you're always making something.
Yeah. I mean, we just
Which
shot
is
something
great.
last night.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And so and just these guys have got great eye for cinematography, for acting, for set designs,
yeah.
and all those sorts of things. So what would you say is exciting you the most about the future as far as things that you're interested in doing?
Filmmaking or everything?
Just everything.
Shoot. Okay. I'm just excited to put stuff out there, put stuff that is close to my heart, and like let people see into what's going on inside me through art. I think that's really the only way you can do that. Like you can say what's going on, but like you can't make someone feel what you're feeling by saying something. Usually, with a lot of people, it's I don't know. It's just your creativity being poured out into something. I found is the most
And what about-
impactful way to convey that stuff.
Yeah. And what about messaging? I mean, do you feel like that whether it's music or film, you can get certain messages out maybe that are received better than if you're just trying to tell someone something?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can. I mean, mending emotions, like, I don't know. It's like there's not really an emotion behind telling you something so straightforward, I feel sometimes. And having an emotion attached to this message really helps it like
Yeah.
dig deep
Right.
into your psyche and into your heart. That creates a change in you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like that's what they've been doing with film for as long as film's been around, spreading these messages, even in war times, like spreading messages about the war, and like with these emotional like monologues, and like how they edit it, and like what they're showing parts of the war, and like so
appealing to the heartstrings.
Yes.
Well, and stories do that too. You know, a
100%.
story so often for me, whether it's something that is maybe created from a Christian perspective or from a secular perspective, but yet it has some kind of powerful and profound truth, it kind of sticks with you if you see it in story form, and it can be very impactful. As you know, I'm about to release my first novel, which, by the way, Joseph designed the cover for me.
Did.
And he mentioned not liking to draw cars, but there is one involved.
I did. I traced it.
Well, it's great though. Yeah, but you made it so cool the way you did it. Yeah. But like, for example, that story is not what I would call an overtly Christian story in the sense that it's trying to preach you a message, but it has these values. It has a lot of action and adventure, but there's also the significance of forgiveness, second chances, the importance of family. So all that wrapped up into it. And I originally, as you know, wrote that as a feature-length screenplay. So who knows? Maybe one day we'll make a movie.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Might be cool.
It might be cool. Well, let's talk about, some of the areas as far as your career, because of course you have a full-time job, which is media related, but you're always trying to build, your side businesses. And Joseph is an outstanding photographer. So
I just do everything, guys.
For those of you out there in the Cleveland, Chattanooga area and you need photography, Joseph's your guy. So tell us some of the things you've done photography of. Like, what are some of your subjects or events?
Graduation photos, event photos, wedding photos are probably my highest earning ones. I honestly love doing weddings. I mean, every other media person I know is like, I hate doing weddings. I'm like, I think it's kind of fun. I don't know. I always get like emotional at weddings. So I don't know. I love like seeing love. And so I don't know. It's just so nice to capture these moments of like these tender, candid moments.
Yeah.
And I love doing that. But I also love doing like artistic, edgy type photography, flashing lights, colored, weird. What most people would deem weird. I love it.
Yes.
So,
No, you've got some really cool stuff and some really, beautifully done, photography, but also some of the more creative stuff too. And of course, you always want to, sometimes you get commissions to do art, and you're always open for that as well.
I am open for
that. So again, we'll be putting a link to Joseph's art page in the comments section. Let me just round this out by saying, Joseph, you're not just a creative guy, you're also just an all-around great guy. We love having you around. And funny, guys. He's really funny. Now, sometimes he can be very serious. He seems really serious. But also, you have entertained us for years, and we love that about you. And I was actually, I was just going through the notebook that I kept when you guys were young, and was rereading some of the things that we would write down. So I wish I would have done more of it. So if you have young children out there, or you're going to have young children, I really encourage you to have a journal and write down all the cute and funny things they say, because you will forget them if you don't. But
what was one?
Well, one of them that I read earlier, and I don't know how, I've got the dates on them, but you would have been pretty small. Okay. And we were, I guess, saying bedtime prayers, and your brother Luke said something like, "Thank you for being the most powerfulest, Jesus." And then you said, "And thank you for Joseph." Like you said, "And thank you for Joseph."
Don't forget about me. Don't forget about Joe.
Yeah, and then there was another one where I think you guys were, well, I think Luke was kind of being bullied in like the nursery at church, and we told him, we said, Luke, you just got to stand up and say, no, tell the kid, no, stop it. And he was like, but my mouth isn't mean. And you were like, I'll do it. I'll say no. So you were nice and bold. You didn't have a problem.
Not afraid to confront.
You were not afraid. And that's good. That's good. Well, Joseph, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Hopefully I've said things of substance and helpfulness.
Yes.
I could say more about what's going on with me, but just follow me on social media and you'll maybe get a glimpse into my life. Maybe. Yeah.
And here's something I forgot to say. Joseph designed our podcast logo.
I did.
I mean, he's come along and we didn't mention that, but like you have a great eye for graphic design, logos, and and so you did our podcast logo, and we appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
And
I might try another variation soon. Maybe.
We're ready for an upgrade already?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe the next season.
Okay.
Are we doing seasons?
We're just going week to week right now.
I don't know.
I think we're on episode 40, which is pretty significant.
That's wild.
40 is a significant number.
Wild, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for being here for episode 40.
Episode 40.
We'll see what happens next. All right, and if you guys didn't see the episodes several weeks back, Joseph, Luke, and Jace.
Who?
Joseph, Luke, and... Yeah, that's kind of how the episode was. It was very entertaining. They just took over and did the whole podcast. So go back and see that if you haven't.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I think we'll sign off. And thank you again, Joseph. And we will see all of you next time.
See you next time.
Don't forget to like this video and please subscribe to our channel. Drop your comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you prefer audio podcasts, please follow us on your favorite streaming platform.